Hi everyone, I'm Colette here with Witch Ways today, and I want to talk to you about creating intentions for magic and spell working. I hope you enjoy. A solid intention is 90% of successful magic. Taking the time to craft a really good intention can make a big difference between a successful piece of magic and one that has unforeseen consequences. Today, I want to talk about working with an intention for your personal magic that you do for yourself. This is when you have a personal need or something in your life needs to really change. Many people feel that having an intention that is short and succinct enough to repeat or chant a few times as you're carrying your magic out is the best way to go. But it's really up to you. Feel free to adapt this to fit your own style of magic and your practices. I like to start my process of writing an intention with a clearing and blessing of the space. You can do that in many different ways, but the way I like to do that is with herbs. And I often use a 3-herb blend of rosemary for protection, clearing, and clear thinking, lavender for soothing my nervous system and calming enough out of the need that I have so that I can be truly creative with my magical process. And the third thing I add is mugwort to help open my intuitive system so that I can feel things that the spirits are trying to let me know about the piece of magic I'm trying to create. I like to cast a protective circle, both to help me focus and contain the energy, and also to make sure that any spirits that enter the space have my best interest at heart. Once I've prepared my space, then I sit down and I start writing. And at this point, I just loosely ramble. I don't worry about length. I might write a paragraph or half a page talking about what I need, why I need it, what I want it to look like, and I just don't worry about things like grammar. However, every once in a while, as you sit down to write, the lightning bolt of inspiration strikes and you know exactly what you have to say and you just write it out, boom, and it's perfect. Try and put some passion into your writing if you're taking some time with it. Think about what the best possible version of what you need could look like. Sometimes once I've done that kind of rambling, unedited half page of writing, I just stop, walk away, and just kind of let it brew for a while and do something else. Then I come back and do my serious editing, and I might start that by just kind of going through it and noticing things that jump out at me that seem important or seem shiny or seem like they're phrased particularly well, and I might highlight those or underline those. Then what I do is try and craft those things into a specific sentence. I try to write multiple versions of it, looking for the best version. I play with like what happens if I put this part in front and this part at the end until I get it where I really like it and it feels succinct and to the point and is in its best version. Your best version can include more than that specific structured sentence that you just created, if that's part of your lineage. Some lineages or traditions always phrase magic a certain way. Change it up, add to it so that it's right for you and fits with the style of magic that you're doing. Or if you don't have a particular style, you can just keep it very simple. I always like to add a few caveats to try and keep things from going sideways. I'm going to talk about caveats in just a minute, but first I want to talk about, in addition to having a pretty clear and succinct idea of what you need, you might want to broaden it. The reason you might want to broaden your intention is because you don't want to limit the ways that the spirit world can get you the resources you need. That way, that broadens what can come to you to include things like you find an incredible deal on a car for the price of what you would have spent on your car in a year repairing it if it's getting really old. Or maybe someone is going away on vacation for a while and loans you a car so that you can take some more time to raise some money in other ways. So now I want to talk about caveats. During this process of crafting your intention, you might decide that you need to go really big with your intention. And this is where I like to be careful and add more caveats. So you might craft an intention something like, I need more money in general. And some of the caveats you might add if you were going to say something like that is, I need money abundantly beyond the expenses I have. That way you don't just like get more money, but incur a lot more debt or more expenses. You also could say something like, I need more resources overall at my current rate of employment so that you don't end up having to work 80 hours a week. One of the things about doing magic is not only can it help you with specific things, but it might give you bigger picture information about what you actually need to do in order to get what you need. Particularly, I feel, when you call in deity. So one of the realizations that might come to you in this example we used about the car is that you actually need a different job that pays more. So in that case, what you might do is do two spells. One where you get a temporary kind of stopgap fix to just get what the resources you need to fix your car temporarily, and then do a second, more well thought out spell about creating and getting the job that will work for you. Another thing that you can do is to say, I need this or better. Again, what that does is it opens more roads from the spirit world to you to get your actual needs met, rather than just limiting it to the specific thing that you asked. An easy way to think about an intention is it's like the steering wheel of your car. It helps steer you in the direction that you need to go. So that's another reason you want to make sure that you take some time with it. One other caveat that I want to talk about is when you are in a situation where there is any kind of dispute, whether that's a legal dispute or a personal dispute. And if you're in one of those kinds of situations, I feel personally it's important to add the phrase best possible outcome, because this is a situation where there's a lot of conflicting needs and a lot of wild cards. And so I think it's good to state what you need and say, or best possible outcome. Sometimes I like to include the power of the way that I'm activating that spell in my intention. So for example, if I'm going to be burning anything during my spell or magical working, I might include in my intention, by the power of fire, I ask for. Or if you're calling in a specific deity, you might say, by the power of this deity, I ask for. Or you might do something like, I call on the power of 3 times 3, as I will it, so mote it be, and then say that 3 times in your intention and as you're doing your spell. Or another example might be if you're using flowers or honey to sweeten your path, you might call on the power of bees to take your magic where it needs to go. Once you have written out your full intention, I like to just let go of it for a little bit, let it brew, let it set, walk away, go for a walk, have some food, do something else, and then come back to it and reread it and see how I feel about it. My personal experience has been that if you include your intention very actively in the carrying out of your spell, it can do a better job of steering your magic where it needs to go. A few ideas are that you can read your intention out loud at the beginning of the magic that you can do. You can chant it continuously as you are doing the spell working, or in fact the entire time you're preparing for it and setting up your altar if that feels right to you. You can burn it. You can lay it on the altar that you've built and just let it sit there and burn a candle. In the way that I work, the more you can actually feel and resonate with your intention in your body and really feel it coming to pass, the more effective your magic is likely to be. We all have really different styles and ways of doing things, so I'd love to hear in the comments what kinds of things you add to intentions or things that you never add to intention, whether your intentions are long and flowery and formal or short and casual. Whatever that is, I think we all can learn from each other here on YouTube. And I would love it if you would like, subscribe, and maybe even hit that notification bell. Check out my website and Patreon links in the descriptions. And until next time, stay safe and be well.